Going to do a quick review of the BuckKnife's 119 Special. This is my favorite hunting knife. By far, it's absolutely my favorite hunting knife. It's not the fanciest, you know, and they've been around for a long time, but this to me is kind of really the way to go. To start off, it comes with a leather sheath, got your little BuckKnives logo on there. It is really sturdy, just like anything else you would expect from BuckKnives, and then you have your belt loop, of course, on the back. Opening the sheath, you'll notice I did something a little bit different here. It just buttons across the front, and then you pull your blade out. Your blade, right now, when you put that blade in there, there's a rivet here, and then there's the rivet for the back side of the button that's inside, and those metal pieces will rub and scratch your blade like crazy. So if you go with the Special like I did, it's got a really nice Coca-Cola, I think is what the wood's called, blade with the brass handle, and you don't want to get that all marred up and scratched up because it's got a really nice oily sheen to it. It looks really nice, so you don't want to get it all marred up. So what I did is I just took little pieces of felt from my wife's craft room. I just stole it from her when she wasn't paying attention. Took some super glue and a pair of scissors, and I just cut out, you can see I just cut out little circles to, you know, roughly match that size of the metal that was going to rub the handle, and then I just super glued that right over the back of the rivet. And then what that does is keeps your handle so it's, you know, nice and shiny and not all marred up unless you know, smack it on something or scratch it on something, but it won't be due to taking it in and out of the sheath all the time. So sheath is good. Comes with a little plastic insert inside. This is just to protect when you're putting that pointed edge that goes down. Will run along that plastic and it won't tear up this leather. Otherwise, as you put that blade in there like this, it just gives it a smooth edge to run in, and it's a really fine sharp tip. You'll snag that leather and you'll tear your sheath up, so you don't want to do that. So the BuckKnife is, like I said, it's by far my favorite hunting knife. It's got a 6-inch blade on it, so it's got a lot of cutting room there. It's got 10.5 inches is the overall length, so it's just a really good size. If you're going to come up and, you know, you need to come up and cut the stomach lining, or not the stomach lining, but you start cutting the skin around the stomach lining, so you're going to pull it away and then run it all the way up to the rib cage. It's got a really fine point so you can nick a hole just to get it started. It's got a wide cutting blade, so if you've got to cape out an animal or when you're skinning your harvest, you've got a lot of room to play with along here, and it holds its edge probably the best out of any knife I've ever tried. It holds its edge. You know, you got to sharpen it just as much as you would any other knife, but you know, you don't have to if you don't want to, because it's not going to go dull. I've gone and I've skinned an entire deer with a BuckKnife exactly like this, and it didn't have to sharpen it once during that whole process. You know, so I would say this is, in my opinion, probably the best hunting knife you can get. Now the weight is the other thing I really like, because I like when the knife does kind of the work for you, whether you're skinning or you're field dressing out in the field right after you've taken your harvest. I like something that I feel is sturdy. I feel like is going to go in and get the job done, and I'm not going to have to fuddle with it, or if it's going to bend, bow, or break any direction if I hit bone, or if I need to go through the breastplate. So this is 10.5 ounces, so it's pretty heavy as well as compared to some other knives. So it's got a good blade length at 6 inches. It's got good weight. You can also get it in an aluminum handle with, there's some kind of, I can't remember what it's called, there's some kind of black enamel that you can get, and they're quite a bit cheaper if you do that. I really like this wood handle, and I really like the brass. I think it adds, I don't know, just a lot of character to the knife, and it makes me happy when I look at it. You know, I just like the look, and I like the feel of it, and I like the weight, and the wood just kind of makes me smile when I see it. So I've got a lot of compliments on this knife. I think if you get this knife, you'll be absolutely happy with it. Good blade length, good weight, and it's a BuckKnife, so you can't go wrong. If you get anything out of this video, if you have one, or if you're thinking about buying one, or if you have another type of knife that has the same scenario, I try to keep all of my equipment in pretty good shape. So pay attention to rivets and the sheaths when you clasp that around to close knife, you know, whether it's a BuckKnife or any other knife you have, just so you kind of keep your material in top quality shape. You don't want to get it all scratched up and marred up and looking ugly. I know some people say they like to buy things to use them, and I do as well, but I don't mind if they look nice while I'm using them. Thanks for watching. Hope you learned something.